Hey, I'm Kathleen Jasper, and today we're going to be working on some SAT reading comprehension. But these exercises today will help you with any exam where it is assessing your reading comprehension skills. I'm going to show you how to think critically, look at the item as a whole, work backwards, think like a test maker, all those strategies I love to share. Let's get started. All right, let's go over some reading comprehension questions. Now, I have expanded them so that they fill up my TV screen for you. I don't want them to be too small. So these are ones that I built myself. These SAT questions are mine based on many of the questions that SAT has in their practice test questions. I want you to think critically. We're going to be thinking about strategy more than content here. Let's hop over to my presentation so you can have a look at what I have for you. All right, so you will see questions like this on the SAT. It's usually a short passage, which is good news. You're not going to have those full length passages that they used to have. And I like to look at this thing as a whole. Most people will start up here and start reading all the way down. Don't do that. I like to go right here first, figure out what your task is. And the task is to choose the central purpose or the central message, which is really a main idea. And then I have A, B, C, and D here. I have the words disappointment, peaceful distance, concern, and her decision to reclaim. I like to just pick out little things within those answer choices just to sort of set them apart the way that this person is feeling, either disappointment, peaceful distance, concern, or reclaiming ownership. The next thing I like to do is read the last sentence or two in the passage. So let's start here. Yet in all of this, Clara felt not disappointment. All right. So can I cross out A then? Because it said she doesn't feel disappointment, but a strange, comforting detachment, as if the place no longer belonged to her, but was simply passing through her memory. So she is detached, which is a peaceful distance here. B, there really is no concern, and reclaiming ownership is not talked about in the last sentence. Now, I would grab this and go because you are being timed and you want to make sure that you're getting through everything. But let's go ahead and read the whole thing now so I can show you that B is the correct answer. We have Clara stood at the edge of the orchard, the hem of her skirt damp from the morning dew. Around her, the trees hummed with quiet energy of early spring. Now, notice that first sentence or first two sentences, it's just fluff in there. And I would have wasted my time reading that. Not to say that every first or second sentence in every passage is going to be fluff, but in this situation, we got to the right answer by starting down here. This is very descriptive and nice, but we don't need it to answer the question. She had come home. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more into the meat of things, but nothing looked quite the same. The barn had lost its red, the fence had sagged, and even the porch swing groaned with unfamiliar creak. And then it said, yet she wasn't disappointed. She was actually comfortably detached, right? She was at a peaceful distance here. So we already said she wasn't disappointed. C, highlight Clara's concern. Never was there a concern there. No one talked about being concerned. And to describe a decision to reclaim ownership, never talked about. Nope. The best answer there is B. And we got to it before we had to do all this other stuff. I just like to show you the whole process. Okay, so we might also be presented with text 1 and 2 questions on the SAT, where you have passage 1 and passage 2, and you have to either find out similarities or differences or answer some questions here. So right away, this is one where you do not want to start from the top and read all the way to the bottom. You definitely want to start with the question on these because it's going to help you in terms of guiding you to where you need to be within these texts. So it said, how would the author of text 2 most likely respond to the tone of text 1? All right. And it says it is appropriately optimistic. It is dismissive of other suitable technologies, inaccurate, and premature. So optimistic, dismissive, inaccurate, or premature. That'll kind of help us get the vibe quickly when we are reading this. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to read the last sentence of these paragraphs here. So we have, the team believes this innovation could radically reduce landfill waste in the next decade. Okay, sounds pretty optimistic. The team believes. Well, what would author 2 say to that? Let's go here. Without widespread education and systems to support them, these alternatives may not yet live up to their ecological promise. So we have text one, which is like happy text, yay, this is going to be awesome. And text two is like, wait a minute, not so fast, right? So I have the opposites here. I can immediately cross off A because it says it's appropriately optimistic. Text two says text one is a little too optimistic yet. We don't know. Without the widespread education systems, we're not sure if what text one is talking about in Green Labs is really going to be good. Okay. B, it is dismissive of other suitable sustainable technologies. No, I don't get the vibe of it being dismissive. Like text two is not accusing text one of being dismissive. It's saying, hold up, don't be so excited yet. We need more testing, right? C, it is inaccurate because the benefits of mycelium are scientifically unproven. This one is what we call strong language, okay? First, we have this strong word, inaccurate. You're basically saying you are wrong. So the author of text two is saying, text one, you are wrong. And mycelium are significantly or scientifically unproven. That's a little bit more of strong language, and that was not talked about in text two. We just say we need more education. It doesn't mean it's not proven. It just means like before we get our hopes up, let's hold back and wait till we get more tests. D, it is premature given the lack of disposable systems of public awareness. All right, D looks good because we need the education to support alternatives and they may not live up to their ecological promise. We have this here. The infrastructure for composting is still limited in many regions. So again, it's not saying it's all bad. It's just saying it's premature, which is a better word here. That's why D is the best answer. And again, notice I didn't read this whole thing. I got to the correct answer by picking out pieces here. Now, you might be someone who has to read the whole thing. That's fine. But I'm talking to people here who are trying to gain some speed, get more accuracy, and think like a test maker and look at the item as a whole. All right. And the last one, we're going to be looking at a poem here. So let's look at the question. What is the most likely interpretation of the final lines of the poem? Now, when it comes to a poem like this with very short stanzas and lines and things like that, I would just read this whole thing, because when we're talking about a poem, a lot of times it's going to be lots of very descriptive language, maybe a little hard to understand. And this right here is going to be dependent on this. So this is where I would read from top to bottom. But let's have a look at the answer choices. The speakers are determined to rebuild. The group is commemorating a past event with silent reverence. The poem advocates for open communication in times of grief. The speaker is confused about how to express emotion. All right, let's have a look. We gathered in the cool of dusk, not to mourn, but to remember. The fire had gone out hours before, leaving charred wood and a trail of warmth rising still. So it says we, so there's a group gathering in the cold dusk, and they're looking at what was a fire. It says the fire had gone out, leaving just charred wood. So they're all maybe sitting around a fire that's already been burnt out. No one spoke of the flame. We only watched the smoke and understood what it meant to keep something after it was gone. So it's kind of a metaphor for maybe mourning someone or remembering someone. There was once a fire there and now there is only smoke. And so they're sort of looking at the smoke, and that's like the memory. That's what this is saying to me, holding on to something after it is gone. Okay. So what is the interpretation of that last piece? Basically that they're sitting there not remembering the person as the flame, but really what's left after the person is gone. So the speakers are determined to rebuild. No, the group is commemorating a past event with silent reverence. A past event. We have the smoke, which was once a flame. I like B. C, the poem advocates for open communication. Never talked about that. D, the speaker is confused how to express emotion after loss. No. B is the best answer because past is the smoke from the flame, and they're all being silent. It says we only watch the smoke. They're sitting there in silence, just looking at the smoke, thinking about their friend or whomever they're trying to remember. All right. So you might see the structure of those types of questions on the exam. For sure, there's going to be what is the main purpose of this, text one and text two. You might get a poem. You might get something else, maybe a piece from the 1800s. But when you can look at these passages critically, sort of move around, read the last sentence. How does that work with the preceding sentence? What do the answer choices look like? How how does that lead you to the right answer? It really helps you to think like a test maker and score a lot higher on this test. It should not be a linear process where you read from the top to the bottom or from this side to this side. Look at that whole item. What are they trying to do? What tricks are they trying to employ to trip you up? When you think like a test maker, you can figure that out and score better on the exam. All right, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Have a great day.